August 6th, 1945, a little boy was dropped in Hiroshima, Japan as an attempt to end World War II. 9 days later, on August 9th, 1945, Batman bomb was dropped in Nagasaki.
These bombs were tragic events, but it ended up ending the war between America and Japan. Hello and welcome to the AAK Nightly News Special Reports.
Today we are reflecting on the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
We were fortunate enough to meet with 3 seasoned historians who are very passionate about this topic, but more on that later.
For now, we'll have some information about the creators of the atomic bomb.
The bomb was created and developed by many people, including Leo Szilard,
General Leslie R. Groves,
and General George C. Marshall. Today we'll have all those burning questions answered.
And now on to our first interview with Leah Danziger.
We are going to start off today's program with an interview with Yonga Lee. Yonga's grandmother lived in Japan when the bomb was dropped. We are very thankful to have Yonga with us here today. Thank you very much for having me. No, really, thank you. No, it's my pleasure. No, really, thank you. So your grandmother would tell you stories about what it was like living when the bomb was dropped? Yes, she would always tell me things about what she had to go through and what happened and what she had to face during that time. Very interesting. So I understand that you work as a history professor at the University of Chicago. Yes. So you teach students about World War II? Yes. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about the atomic bomb? Not at all. Okay then, why do you think the U.S. made the atomic bomb? Well, there are many ways to look at that. When the U.S. decided to make the bomb, they weren't even sure if they were going to use it yet. They just wanted to prepare for the worst. I mean, we had no idea when the war would end. Japan obviously wasn't giving up, so we needed something if push came to shove. At the time, we weren't planning to use it, but we wanted to have backup. Very interesting. So why do you think the U.S. used the bomb? Well, I believe the time came to that. The war was making no signs of ending. We were losing so many men. It wasn't fair to these men to die when there was other options. Our people were behind it, so why not? This was really all we saw, the only way to get out of war. But we didn't do it right away. We decided to give Japan some warnings before we dropped it. Japan didn't listen, so we didn't have any other option. Do you think we should have dropped the bomb? Well, that is actually a very difficult question to answer. You see, personally, I wish they didn't drop the bomb because my grandmother lived in Hiroshima at the time. But also, as an American, I'm glad they dropped the bomb so that we could get out of the war and we wouldn't have to go through more devastation. So I can't really choose a side to that. Thank you very much for this interview. I know you're a very busy woman. You are very welcome, Leah. Thank you for having me. And now to our next interview with Samantha Parker.
Our next historian we'll be interviewing will be Miss Abigail Ray Porter. She's a professor at Harvard and she studied there herself. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Miss Porter. Thank you so much for having me. Now let's get right to it, shall we? When it comes to using the atomic bomb, what were some alternatives to getting into the atomic study or even using the bomb? We could have continued to firebomb the city, which is what we were doing at the time when we dropped the bomb. Also, the United States could have used the bomb earlier in the war, and therefore possibly causing the war to end earlier. But if we did use the bomb earlier in the war, Japan could have dropped lots of destruction on the United States. Japan could have also gotten more allies to be on their side during the war to help defend their country. President Truman could have also not approved of the bomb being used, and therefore caused the United States to keep fighting in the war without using the atomic bomb. But I believe that the atomic bomb was the best idea. Now, since we used the bomb, what were some of the consequences from dropping it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? First of all, there were so many Japanese lives lost, most of which are civilians. No one knows exactly how many lives were lost, but there is an estimated about somewhere around 140,000 in Hiroshima and 80,000 in Nagasaki. From the bomb, about 7 weeks after it was dropped, radiation sickness began to show. There were many deaths from that as well. Also, the two cities were destroyed, and less than 10% of the buildings that were in the city survived. It takes a long time to rebuild a city, and many things were destroyed. In Hiroshima, a 300-year-old tree was uprooted by this bomb. The tree was considered a national monument. It'd be like the Washington Monument being knocked over or something. Besides the cities being destroyed, the idea that we had the technology, that we have the atomic technology, was entirely released to the world. This could be a good or a bad thing, and it can affect us in either way. Thank you so much for your time and your opinion. We really appreciate it. Sure, anytime. And now we move on to our next interview with Victoria Swan.
Our final interview is with Sarah Johnson. Hello, I'm Victoria Swan, and I'm here to interview Sarah Johnson, a historian at Yale. Sarah, do you think the atomic bomb was the right thing to do? As an American, I feel it was the right thing to do. In my perspective, I feel that if we didn't drop the bomb, the war wouldn't have ended. Japan surrendered after the second bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki, and if the bomb wasn't dropped, who knows when the war would have ended. Even though 220,000 lives were lost at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, thousands of American lives were saved. Also, if the war would have continued, people would have died anyway, and that may have even totaled to the amount of lives lost from the bombing. In my opinion, the bomb gave the United States more power. It showed not only Japan, but the rest of the world, that the United States is capable of using advanced technology. Our scientists, and everyone involved, shows that we have a high capability of designing a complex war weapon. It takes years of mechanics and research to develop such a destructive, functional weapon. Not only did the American scientists have a part in designing the bomb, but it also brought other countries' scientists together to help create it. A scientist, such as Hans Bethe, was a German-American scientist who was the head of the theoretical division at Los Alamos Laboratory. He helped calculate critical masses of the bombs. The bomb was a huge advancement in science and the opening to a new era in nuclear weapons. I think the bomb was definitely a good thing because, after all, it did end the war and open opportunities to science and save Americans' lives. I believe that dropping the atomic bomb was the right thing to do. Thanks for having me join you today to talk about my opinion on dropping the atomic bombs. Thank you. It was my pleasure. That concludes our broadcast for today.
We hope that this broadcast was organized, coherent, informative, and well-planned.
Now, live from Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Thank you and good night.
Hiroshima. But also, I am glad they dropped the bomb because, as an American, I'm glad because, I'm just glad. Oh, God, I gotta.
In my opinion, the bomb gave the United States.
Our next historian that we'll be meeting with is Abigail Reporter. She attended.
Now to our next interview with Sarah Parker.
Who is it?
Samantha. Oh, Samantha.
Thank you so much. My hair fell out.
Other countries' scientists together with us. What? That doesn't make sense.
I wish they didn't drop the bomb because, as you know, my mother lived in here, or my
grandmother.
Oh, we're taking her there! Yeah, oh! No, we're just gonna...
Just for the record, I have nothing to do with this.
Breaking news! There was a third bomb dropped. Where? At Anna's house! Boom! I'm melting! I'm melting! Oh, God, save me! Oh, I can't feel my legs! Oh!
I have a hot program of the bomb being used, and therefore caused. Why is the table shaking so much? Oh my God!
Hello, I'm Victoria Swan, and I'm here to interview Sarah Johnson.
Oh, I'm making fun.
Sup, Andrea?
Hey, how's it going?
It's PG. We're making Anna mad.